and then it dawned on me that the kids weren't here, and I still heard them all running outside. No one was in the house but me. Hi guys, welcome back to the Quora Zone. Today I'll be reading from Can you share a paranormal experience you had but never told anyone because it's just too crazy and creepy to be believed? Let me know if you guys believe any of these stories. Our next post is from Lois Harold. My husband and I were remodeling my mother's old house. It was built in 1908. We've been taking pictures outside. We stopped to look at them in the dining room window. Up in the right corner were three little girls. We could see their faces and part of their clothing at the shoulders. They were suspended high in the corner. Nothing was there to stand on. It looked like something out of an old photo. Their hair was long curls and their clothing was white. We thought, wow, that's weird. We usually brought our two granddaughters with us when we worked on the house. This time we were alone. My husband was in the backyard mowing and I was in the front room taking a break and was on Facebook on my phone. I heard a noise adjacent to the dining room, like someone small jumped off something and skipped away. I was still on my phone and then it dawned on me that the kids weren't here, and I still heard them all running outside. No one was in the house but me. That's when it dawned on me that I had heard the sound of a child's motion of jumping down from something and skipping away. I decided I wasn't sticking around. I went outside and told my husband. I knew if we hadn't seen that picture, he would never have believed me, and we wouldn't have known what that noise was. Our next post is from Dr. Elvis. This may not seem too crazy, but it creeped me out a bit. When I was in my early 20s, I visited a town called Cold Spring, New York, along the Hudson River. I had never been there before. Walking through the town, I went into an antique store just to look around. I found an old ceramic Elvis figure, about 10 inches tall, that would play music when you wound it up. My parents were both huge Elvis fans, so I brought it for them. My mother put it on a shelf downstairs in the house. At the time, I was still living with them in the only bedroom that was downstairs. That night, in the middle of the night, a noise woke me up. I opened my bedroom door and the Elvis figure was playing music. It was totally dark down there, and no one in the house was awake. A few seconds later, it stopped. It felt like something you see in a horror movie before something bad happens. It was a bit creepy to hear that sound in the dark, but I went back to sleep and that was that. The next day I go to work and tell my boss that story. I kind of half joked I hope the figure didn't come with a ghost. He says I only have one ghost story for my life. When I was a kid, we lived in a very old house. One day when I was home alone, I was walking up the stairs and felt an invisible presence stopping me. For a few seconds I couldn't move or walk up the stairs, as if something was pushing me back, and then it just stopped. I said, wow, that is creepy. Where did you grow up? My boss says, Cold Spring, New York. Our next post is from Robert Strickland. I have so many paranormal experiences, but we shared two happened within days of each other. I was home alone and started to go down the basement stairs. I had my hand on the stand rail, but all of a sudden I felt two hands push me on my back. I fell head over heels down the stairs. In shock, I crawled back up the steps and got in the car, then drove minutes to the hospital. I was in shock, and I do not remember the drive. I had two fractures in one leg, cracked ribs on one side, and head trauma. A few days later, I'm in a somewhat small bathroom with nobody home. I'm shaving at the sink, then turn on the shower to get the warm water flowing. As I turn back towards the sink, I suddenly get a shove so hard that I hit the toilet and cracked the water tank in half, if you can believe that. Back to the emergency room I go. Same doctor as days before with the first fall. The doctor wanted to have me investigated as to why I had two serious falls. He seriously wanted to know how I could fall so hard as to break a porcelain water tank in half. I told him I was shoved by a really strong force. I explained the first fall as a strong force pushing me. The doctor documented my version of what happened to me in my medical records. About 2 days after the second fall, I'm standing outside the side garage door because we did not have electricity because of a severe windstorm. My daughter was charging her phone inside my car in the garage. She was standing inside the garage by the side door opening talking to me. She witnessed my sudden change of behavior. It was 3:33 p.m. with my sudden jerking my head around facing from her, then holding my hand pointing at something. This is what happened as I was standing there talking to her. All of a sudden, someone spoke into my ear. I jumped, expected to see a neighbor sneaking up to me to startle me as a joke. There was no neighbor. Instead, I was facing a teenage boy with hair all the way down to his knees. The hair was strawberry blonde. The only way to describe what he was looking like, a coarse material looking like a burlap with a hole for head and a hole for arms. Our eyes meet, and he started laughing. Then I pointed at him, and he starts running past me down the side of my house, where there was a circular opening. I could see inside with mountains in the distance and land looking like an African savanna. He ran into the opening, and it closed. My daughter came out of the garage side door and asked me what had just happened because she felt energy, but she did not actually see my teenage friend. I was so shaken by this that I found a recommended medium. When I met the guy, I did not tell him anything in advance, but he asked me how I was doing. I told him fine, and he said, "No, you were not well. I see you had 2 accidents where a teenage boy pushed you." He then described the teen boy as a mischievous boy. The boy probably did not realize he caused you injuries. It seems like he is a younger brother from another life, playing tricks on his older brother. This all sent me into a tailspin. This made me a real believer in his gifts. There was no way he knew anything about me or my accidents. I told nobody except 3 family members. My daughter said she witnessed me turning and point plus feeling a strong energy. Never had any more accidents or visits from this team. It had been so many years ago. This paranormal experience that I do not tell people because they would think I was out of my mind. Believe me, it was real. Wow. Do you guys believe this story? I believe it personally. Our next post is from Outer Banks Dude. It was 2007 and I was in my junior year of high school. We volunteered that November for the local Secret Santa program. The building they were using for the operation had been abandoned for over 40 years, with the exception of one space that had working heat. The entire rest of the building was about 20 degrees colder. This entire massive 6-story building was filled with large bags that were tied with a number on the exception of the basement. And our duty was when given the number and floor, it was on to go search for it and bring it back to the heated space. Everything was poorly lit, and because the elevator didn't work anymore, we had to use the stairs. It was creepy, but doable. Then while we were on break, one of my classmates found the stairs to the basement, and one was betting $20 for any of us to go down there. I considered it and approached the top of the steps. But at the last minute, I got this feeling of danger, and then goosebumps started forming on my arms, and I got dizzy. I backed away and said, "No way," and I was adamant. I didn't think anyone else should go either. Of course, I all didn't care, but one of my classmates took the dare and went down the steps. We saw her disappear into the darkness at the bottom of the steps. We waited a few seconds and asked her what was down there. She didn't respond. Next thing we know, she is slowly coming up the stairs with this blank worn expression on her face. This was totally out of character for her. We asked her what was down there, and all she said was, "A long hallway with a bunch of doors," in a monotone voice. I was concerned about her and asked if she was okay. She said she didn't want to talk about it. So we all, including her, went on with the rest of the day, which was acting totally off from a normal, joyfully happy-go-lucky self. I'm still friends with her, and to this day, she refuses to talk about it. In 2018, the building was purchased, gutted, and made into luxury furnished apartments. The owner listed them online whenever one is for rent, and these apartments just ooze dark energy. I would never step foot into that building again. I wonder if maybe she got possessed or something. 100%. Something definitely happened down there that she doesn't even want to talk about. Maybe she's even so traumatized that she forgot it, so she doesn't even know. So that's why she's not talking about it, because she doesn't even know what to talk about. Let me know what you guys have been thinking about that story down in the comments. Alright guys, that is all from the Quora Zone today with these spooky, creepy ghost stories. Let me know what you guys think about them in the comments below. And if you have your own personal ghost story, you can put it in my email and I will post them onto my channel. And if you want more of these from me, don't forget to like and subscribe for more.